Hello, Facebook. This is Julia Beauchamp from Speak to Inspire, and this is Tux, the cutie in my lap. Oh my goodness. I'm here to talk with Valerie Moore. We're going to try this one more time about the post that I actually put out yesterday, which was something that she actually talks about in her talk. We worked on a talk for the last year or so about women in leadership. And of course, I would work with women on the stage, and being on stage is a leadership role. So I want to hear her perspective on how she works with women and how she's used the embody your voice work to support her to step into her leadership more. So hopefully she'll be on here any second. I sent her an invite already. Let's send it again. Got Tux is wanting attention. Get rid of this. Tuxie. There we go. Okay, so Valerie does this talk about leadership for women. And hi Valerie. Can't see you quite yet. Bring Valerie Moore on camera, yeah. Here she comes.
Yay, we did
Yay!
it.
We did it. Oh my God. We're coaches, not tech people. That's for sure. All right, Valerie, thank you for joining me today. Tell us a little bit
I'm
about
so glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I work with female change makers to support them to really own their power and to step into leadership challenges with their whole selves so that they can feel comfortable and effective.
Wonderful. But yeah, our work is in a lot of ways very overlapping, and I love the work that like the personal growth work that you've been doing lately. Maybe that'll weave into the conversation as well. So feel free to bring that in. I wanted to ask you about what you think the cultural story is about leadership in terms of women, or, you know, what is the cultural story about leadership that's dominant in our culture today? And how does that relate to what I posted yesterday about the study that was done?
Yeah, that's the nut of it, that we're socially conditioned, not only when we were younger, but it continues on, that we have to be a leader, we have to lead like a man, that we have to behave and act like a man, and we have to suppress the parts of ourselves that don't conform to traditional gender norms. You know, it's that fine line that we walk between you know, you need to be assertive, but not bitchy. You have to be, you know, you can't be too emotional, but you know, you got to be likable. It's just, it goes on and on and on. Every woman I know knows the drill. So that constant pressure to be some kind of I don't know, almost like Frankenstein version of ourselves, right? We've cut off certain parts of ourselves that is not socially acceptable, but it leaves us at a real disadvantage because we're not men, right? We leave a lot of our wisdom and power on the table if we try to pretend to be men.
So this study said to picture a man. They asked a bunch of people to, or sorry, picture a leader, excuse me, picture a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
was it to draw a picture of a leader in this study? Yeah.
Yeah, so the instructions were to envision a leader, right, and to
Right.
draw a picture of them. And when both men and women drew the picture, the majority of them drew a man.
Right.
And the few that drew one that was gender neutral, when they were asked to describe the picture, they used gendered pronouns.
Right.
So it was just this like very deep internalized conditioning that that I think happens because there's still a disproportionate number of men in leadership positions. And so they tied it to the fact that when that's what you see over and over again, that's what you key off of.
Right.
And neurolinguistic programming kind of talks to us about how we think about things, affect how we speak about it, affect how we act from it. And so it's something that we actually, even though intellectually we may know better, right? but these are things that are very deep seated, and it sometimes takes some work to actually unearth and unpack.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in the body. I like how you talk about that. It's
Mm,
like in our cells and our DNA, it's in our
yeah,
bone structure, because that's
yeah.
what we experienced in the Embody Your Voice work. That this is my experience with all my female clients, that I'm asking them to be more certain with how they
Yeah.
speak, how they move, the choices that they make. I'm asking them to find more confidence through the exercises I do with them. And yet, it
Mm,
comes up, I often come up against this thing, well, that's not okay, it's too big, it's too
mhm.
bold, it's too bitchy, people are going to think this of me, they're going to think that of me, I can't do this in this situation, I can't do that in it. So it's there's a lot of story there that I come up against in my work. And my sense is that how you work with women is that you actually really unpack their story, right?
Well, yeah, because the problem is if we only come at it from an intellectual level, we're really good at fooling ourselves, right? We want to see ourselves a certain way, but then what happens is that we hold ourselves back and we don't always understand why we're doing it. There's this sort of pattern of self-attack that women often have, and you have to be present with what is before you can change it. You have to like just see it and accept it and own it and understand if it's serving you. And that process for me, when we first started working together, um, I didn't really understand how much the disconnection between my mind and my body was getting in the way of me being
Mm.
an effective leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Embody Your Voice really did for me, was to help me kind of drop in
Mm-hmm.
to that, those places within inside myself where I could find some room, some capacity to play,
Mm.
right, and to
Yeah.
just be myself and not get so judgmental or so caught up in trying to walk that tightrope between too much and not enough.
Yeah.
So that's really, I think, the journey for all women. And I think that the biggest misconception that most women have is that they're not leaders. They don't see themselves as
Right.
leaders. And this happened to me. I mean, we went through this, right? And I'm a leadership coach. I want to be a leader. I see, and it still came up. So being able to appreciate that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what your role is. Um, Everyone has an opportunity every single day to lead, and being present in the here and now helps you to be able to see those opportunities. And that work that we did together in Embody Your Voice helped me to just be present and connected to myself so that I could feel the impulse, I could read the room, and I could show up in a way that was really serving my message.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, it could just be giving feedback or asking for what I want,
Mm-hmm.
or really giving some direction. Um, but whatever it is, that sense of really being able to stand in it and own the legitimacy of it,
Right, right,
right?
right.
That's the challenge often for women in leadership,
Mm.
situational leadership opportunities.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I found. It's why I've ended up doing this angle on this work, is that
Yeah.
when I am aware of and in tune with my body,
Hmm.
then what I choose to do from that place of actually what's true in the moment is
Yeah.
always the right thing. And what I've seen a lot, I posted about this earlier in the week, is that there's a lot of, what's the word, examples out there
Hmm.
especially in the coaching industry, because I work with a lot of coaches, of a male or masculine energy that leads,
Yeah.
especially around enrollment and sales. So there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Like, something's working with that. Obviously, they're making money and making a big impact in the world. Fantastic. And when I tried to take that into my body and emulate it, I got totally burnt out. I was not having fun. I was not getting
Yeah.
results, and I didn't
Yeah.
feel like myself. And I had to really bring back what I had learned about from the theater world, from the world of the embodiment techniques that I know, and apply it to this realm of business and being authentic as a speaker, because I'm not playing a character like I learned in theater school. I'm playing myself. And I love seeing women like you stepping into what I would call feminine leadership presence, that's really leading with your magnetism, with your pleasure, like you feel good.
Yeah, you had me doing a chair dance to kind of warm up, right? Woo!
Yeah,
Just
I got
really
Valerie
like getting into the body.
Yeah.
Right? That was the trick, that so often we're just neck up, right? Especially, I don't know about some of the other women on this, but listening to this Facebook Live, but for me, I often will fall back into sort of like expert Val, right? And that really is very heady.
Yep.
And it doesn't resonate. People can't feel me in a way that really speaks to their hearts, as well as their minds.
Right.
And that is really leaving power on the table, right? Like it's a missed opportunity. So that's the work that we've been doing together, and just in my own personal kind of healing journey, right? Of just living in the patriarchy and being a woman and trying to really embrace all of myself and bring my whole self to the leadership opportunities that I have. That, absolutely pleasure is a part of the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I so admire your commitment to your growth that I've seen, not only through our work together, but also everything else that you're doing, the commitment to shifting your relationship to the paradigm that we're in. It's like, no, I have to take personal responsibility, which is really what it takes, is all the little tiny choices on a moment to moment basis. That's where leadership lies. From my perspective, leadership is making small shifts in the moment to moment decisions that I'm making that allow me to show up more powerfully and be of more service ultimately. I think that's the feminine approach, is to be of service, right? That it's not for the money, it's not for the whatever, it's for the service.
Well, and I think that there's a lot going on in the world today, and many of us really are not happy with the leadership that we see, certainly in this country. And we're trying to figure out how to do it differently, right? The way we got here is not going to bring us into, the future in a positive realm. And so we're having to try new things on for size. And whether you're a man or a woman, we have both masculine and feminine energy. So bringing our whole selves with this sense of commitment to integrity is what you're talking about, right? And the alignment of that will look different in each person. And that's fantastic, right? Like that's exactly how it should fucking be, right? Is that you're bringing your special sauce, your magic, whatever makes you who you are. And sometimes I think that we just get concerned about, I don't know, that we're too much. And that
is that true for you, that sometimes you feel like too much?
I definitely have in the past. And there are times, like I have been told before, like, hey, turn down the volume, right? Like, it's one of those things where I get excited. I'm really passionate about what I do, about the people I connect with. And I've had to really do some work around self-acceptance and self-compassion, and appreciate that, hey, if I'm too much for some people, then those aren't my people, right? So I'm just gonna, let that be. And it's no shame on them, no shame on me, but trust in the fact that my tribe and my people will appreciate me and everything I bring to the party. So
yeah,
it's still a work in progress, though.
You got a lot to bring to the party, girl. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Your website's morecoaching.com, and we got to get that as like getmorecoachingbit.com. Get more
Yeah, you're really working that. I'm actually the main site I'm working with now is actually valeriemoore.com.
Oh,
So yeah, and that gives you access to my corporate coaching, executive coaching side, to the stuff I'm doing directly with women, specifically, any women change makers, but I've been working with a lot of women entrepreneurs lately. So valeriemoore.com will give you access to all of it.
okay, great. And I'll change that in the post after this video. And also, Valerie will be joining me on September 30th for the next Embody Your Voice event. So she'll get up on stage, get to hear more about what she does. And she might even share more about that study. I love how you always share that one. It just like sums it all up. I like how objective it is. It's like, it's just puts it in your face like, hey, this is the reality, and makes me think about it. So I really like that. And I so appreciate how I've seen you grow over the last year. Thanks for coming on and talking with me a little bit, and just being who you are. Keep rocking out there.
Thank you so much, love. I appreciate it.
Ciao.